to the Calcio podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and Richard. Boys, how are you doing?
I'm
Could
doing
be
good.
better.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Well, obviously, I think we'll get right into it. We got breaking news. So basically, I woke up this morning and I got a call from my dad. And usually when he calls, it's something about like something to do around the house or whatever. But this morning, he's like, "Oh, someone at my work was Portuguese that told me that Roma got Mourinho." I'm like, "Yeah, come on, please, Mourinho. Why would he come to us?" And then I go on my phone on Twitter, and I'm just tagged by like who knows how many accounts. And then I go look, and I see it's done. Roma tweeted it, like it's official. We have Mourinho as our manager, and I'm in shock. Obviously, Sarri was the one that was the favorite to come to Roma. According to Fabrizio Romano, he said that we haven't spoken to Sarri since January. So, okay, I guess we weren't never really going to get Sarri. We're in deep conversations yet with him, but I'm not too surprised, to be honest. I was surprised, but I wasn't at the same time. Last night, I was with my dad watching the Spurs documentary, and I was just telling him I like how Mourinho has such a good connection with all his players. He speaks well. He's a good motivator. Obviously, plenty of experience. 25 trophies, I believe, as a manager. Against some of the biggest clubs in Europe, Chelsea, Real, Inter. If you want to call United a big club, United. And he was in a final with the Spurs. He could have won one, I think, a week ago. But, yeah, Mourinho is a big signing for us. Obviously, tactically, he's not he's on the prime of his tactical career right now, obviously, you can say, but sometimes a team just needs a motivator, and that's what we need right now. Our team, they don't play with any grinta. They're lazy. They don't care. The thing of Mourinho is that he will call out his players. He will call them in his office to speak to them privately, like we saw in the Spurs documentary. He's going to tell them how he feels, and I think he's going to build a good relationship for our players. I think someone like Mancini will really appreciate Mourinho because they're kind of the same character as humans. But I'm excited to see what Mourinho can do with the team. Obviously, we haven't won a trophy in a long time. And Mourinho brings trophies. He's won one at every club except Tottenham since he's been coaching. He knows Italy very well. His formation is very confusing. I have people telling me he plays three at the back. I have people telling me it's a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. I'm not sure what he's going to play. But the good thing that I hear coming out of that is that he does like to switch up his formation. I think one thing of Fonseca that I think Fonseca is a great manager, first off. I think he's going to be one of the best managers in Europe. I strongly believe that. I think he's a great manager. He's in a tough situation with new ownership, injuries. Our best player tearing his ACL twice under him. So it's very difficult for Fonseca to really do much. And he got to the Europa League semi-final. I'm hearing we made $100 million in revenue, which is massive for the club. So obviously he's been in a rough stretch right now, but the thing is, we don't have the depth to play both Serie A and Europa League at the highest level, so we picked one. It was obviously the Europa League. We dropped out, which, well, not yet, but it's looking like it. We're not going to make a comeback. I highly doubt that, but, yeah, Fonseca, I'm looking forward to what he does in the future, and the best wishes to him. I think, Dan, you probably wouldn't want him, but I think if he had the players Napoli has, I think Fonseca will murder the Serie A. I think he'll kill every team, those players, because the way he plays literally is perfect with the players have. Guys like Insigne will be he's already an animal this year. I think under Fonseca would be amazing, but I'm sure Napoli would look for someone with more pedigree to their name and more experience. But yeah, back to Mourinho, I just think that not only does he help Roma, I think he helps the Serie A. He's a big name. I don't think it's arguable. I think he is the biggest name as a manager in Europe. Obviously, Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, managers like that are big names, but I think Mourinho's been around much longer, and from when he's been around, good or bad, he's been talked about in the media constantly. People love him, people hate him, but the last thing you want is nobody talking about you. So it's good to see that we're getting someone popular. Roma do not usually sign guys for big name. We'll get like Fonseca, a guy from Shakhtar, Di Francesco, a guy from Sassuolo. These managers from smaller clubs, but now we're finally getting a big one here. Mourinho, we need to be patient under him. The good thing with Mourinho is that does guarantee we are going to sign at least one big player. We're going to get good players now. People want to play for Mourinho, and I'm sure he was not going to sign a contract unless they promised him a certain amount of players or a certain player or a certain quality and level of players.
Or a certain budget.
Like,
or a certain budget as well. So I'm sure with Mourinho comes a lot of press and hopefully good things with players, but obviously tactically, like I said, that's where he's been lacking and struggling. I think that Serie A is very different from the Premier League. I think Mourinho has always done a great job in Europe. He won the Europa League with United, so I think in the Serie A, I don't think he'll recreate Inter because Inter's team was just unbelievable. But he won at Porto, and Porto is not the strongest of teams. So we'll see what he does. I'm just excited. I think all Roma fans, we've been in a tough period. I don't think we won a game in the last 6 matches. Our last one was April 11th against Bologna. So it's been a while since we tasted some victory or any positivity. But Mourinho coming is a big plus. I'm looking forward to it. And I want to hear what you guys think. Leave a comment or anything
Yeah,
on social media.
you know what?
But
To be honest,
Dan, what do you think?
I feel like this is kind of like when Napoli brought in like an Ancelotti type, and we even though we finished second and third like the last few years under Sarri, Ancelotti brought that winning pedigree coming into Napoli, and I feel like that's what Roma need, and that's what Roma brought in when they're bringing in Mourinho, just a guy who can take them to the promised land, who can win them a Scudetto, who can win them a Coppa Italia, and I personally believe if with the right players, I feel like Roma could be a scary team with Mourinho. Even though Mourinho, the past few teams he's been at, he hasn't had much success, especially at Tottenham. He took them to a cup finals, but he was sacked 7 days before, so that's kind of weird. But I feel like this could be a good signing for Roma. A very good signing. In the past, he proved to be a very top class manager. He's won the biggest games. He won games when the chips were down and no one had faith in the teams. I remember, I think 1 year when it was United versus Juventus, all his
Yeah,
criticism against him was heading into the match, and he proved a lot of people wrong. He went to Juventus, got the job done, got United the 3 points, and he's just a good manager, and he's also a very comedic manager after the game. And
yeah.
you're gonna really enjoy his
I
press
love the post
conferences.
games and press conferences. I love them.
Yeah, you're gonna really enjoy it. And for me, that he was one guy too. I was kind of interested in maybe potentially bringing in if Gattuso were to leave. I always liked Mourinho as a manager. I feel like he's a good manager. And then plus too with the Serie A, I feel like his style would suit the Serie A more.
Yeah.
And if Gattuso did leave, or if he is going to leave, he was one guy I wouldn't mind bringing in at all. I feel like he's better. He's a better option than a few of the managers we are linked to currently. So hopefully, I think it'll work out for Roma. Hopefully, now I'm going to Napoli's manager situation. Hopefully, we make the right choice. We just don't bring in a goon that's going to leave at the end of the year. And that's why I feel like I know a lot of people might not like what I'm going to say, but I feel like Spalletti. I'm not the biggest fan of Spalletti, but I know a few people are. They like the way he coaches. I'm just not a big fan of him. I've never been a big fan of him. And I feel like if he comes into this to Napoli's system, I feel like the team would be probably where they are now. I don't feel like it's an upgrade. I feel like maybe a guy like Sadi coming in could be a potential upgrade. An Allegri type will be an upgrade. Galtier from Lille, if he is set to leave, maybe join a bigger club, I feel like that could be a potential upgrade as well. I just feel like if, or you just keep Gattuso. I feel like, again, I went on last podcast, just if you can't upgrade Gattuso, just keep him. And I feel like if you go with Spalletti, it's kind of a downgrade on Gattuso, especially because he hasn't been coaching in the last like 3 years or so. So we'll see what Napoli does, but Mourinho to Roma, waking up and seeing that news, it was very surprising to me, and it's a very good signing for Roma for them to take the next step.
yeah, I think this is a strange move for me. I thought Saudi was done and dusted. For me personally, I think the Saudi ball would have been very beneficial at Roma, but when you have a manager of the pedigree like Mourinho, you can't say no to that. You have to go with Mourinho. And it's
Yeah,
strange, 'cause my good friend Ryan from high school, he was telling me, he's like, he always says, but he's like, but Mourinho's gonna come to Roma, watch. And I said, Ryan, I don't think it's gonna happen. His legacy at Inter, like, I don't think he'd ruin that. But now he's there, obviously. I think on Roma's behalf, it's a great move. Um, with Inter fans, I don't think they will be mad at him. He didn't go to a team like Juve or anything. He went with Roma. It's a very respectable club in Serie A. I just think some of the players on that Roma team will be a little disappointed. They weren't the biggest fans of Mourinho at United, but let's see if they didn't burn the bridge and they start a new chapter with Mourinho. Hopefully, the relationship could reconcile and they could do good things at Roma. But I think overall, it's a great pickup for Roma. I think next season will be very interesting. The podcast over the summer is going to be very interesting with Roma's transfers, and we'll see what's going to happen in the near future. But Enz, congrats, you got a great manager, and it's fantastic for Serie A. I was telling Enzo earlier, this is like the Ronaldo deal on a smaller spectrum, because you don't even have the Serie A accounts talking about this. You have the English media, the French media, the Spanish media. It's really like Ronaldo as the manager. So it's great for Serie A that we have the best, the most talked about player and the most talked about manager in the same league. It really helps with the marketing and branding of the league.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mourinho comes with a lot of things, and one thing I want to mention is that I don't know how to say this. I think, okay, in my opinion, I know it's going to be debatable here, but in my opinion, Roma is the hardest job to take as a manager in all of Europe because, number one, Rome is the capital of Italy. It's a world famous city. A lot of players want to come. A lot of coaches want to come.
Capital of the world. Never mind.
Capital of the world, yeah. Or capital of Italy, but yeah, capital of the world. And people want to play for us. They want to join our club. But the thing is that when you come to Rome, it's very toxic. You know, for a club that has not won much, our fans, our journalists are very, very, very critical. And if there's one person, because if you guys look, please look at a picture of Fonseca at Shakhtar and look at him now. This guy looks like he aged 85 years. Any manager, look at before and after pictures. It's actually insane. Like Di Francesco, he looked like a model when he came. His skin was glowing. It was all nice and clear. He had his little circular glasses on. He looked like a famous guy. At the end, the glasses were off. He had bags under his eyes. He was all wrinkly. He looked like he went through a ringer.
It's true.
So Roma will do that to you. It's a very stressful club to manage. And if there's one manager, and I actually mean this, out of any manager in all of Europe, there's one manager I think can handle that environment. It's Mourinho. So I think the journalists will respect him much more because of what he's accomplished. I think the players will respect him. He just demands a lot of respect. And I think, to be honest, our biggest issue is our mentality. It's not even the way we play. We are a very mentally weak team. Very mentally weak. When we concede 2-3 goals, we get killed. Napoli game what happened. Start off bad, we got destroyed. United, we got destroyed. Di Francesco against Fiorentina, we got destroyed. Bayern destroyed. It happens so often. I can go on forever. I can name 20 games we got killed. So that's our problem. We never lose 4-0. Right? 4-0 isn't that bad for a Roma scoreline, to be honest. But 6-0, 6-2, 7-1. I've seen too many of these in my life, and I think Mourinho will keep the players mentally tough. I think he's proven it. He has 25 trophies as a manager, if I'm not mistaken. He's won the treble. He's won Champions League of Porto. He's done it all. Won the Premier League with Chelsea. So I'm excited to see what he can bring to Rome. And yeah, I think that tops up the Mourinho talk for the day. Surprising, but moving on now. Inter. They won the Scudetto. Pretty sure it's over. I don't want to hear you say it's not over yet. It's done. It's official. Mathematically, like you were saying, it's over.
It is over.
I won the 2020-2021 title.
I thought you were going to say, but it's not over until it's over.
No. Mathematically, it's over. Inter, congratulations on the Scudetto. We'll be back stronger than ever next season. Enjoy it while you have it. You got a lot of results that, you guys wouldn't have won in the past, but you saw that Conte and with the players you had, you guys really wanted the Scudetto. You were mentally tough, and you got a lot of ugly wins that were much needed in the season, and you showed resilience and hunger to win the Scudetto, and you got it. So congratulations. Like I said, next season we'll be back for it, but keep the Scudetto clean, keep it polished for us, and we'll come claim it next year.
Yeah, definitely. It was it's a big moment for Inter to see around the world. Yeah. Obviously, Milano was flooded in black and blue.
Yeah.
And
that was crazy.
It's insane. Both Inter and Milan are on the same time, dropped off. They had these incredible teams, and then they went on a decade run almost. Yeah, it was a decade actually. It's been a decade where they've been mediocre. they've had horrendous seasons, like finishing 7th, and they've had terrible seasons. But now, since Conte's come, obviously, like I said, Mourinho, well, Pep Guardiola, these managers with the high stature, when they come to a club, they're going to bring good players with them. And that's what Conte does everywhere he goes. And to be honest, I think it was written like in the stars of the season, like with COVID. I don't think Inter was affected that badly by COVID compared to other teams. Not making an excuse though. They did help other teams.
And to be fair, when their games got postponed. For want to be realistic.
That's true. They did get some, I don't want to say help, but they had some advantages over other teams.
They had more leeway to play around.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave an asterisk on this win for them. It's a huge win for the people of Milano who support Inter. And Conte, I'm pretty sure he's been involved in 7 league seasons and has won 5 league titles, which is incredible. Yeah. Obviously, with Juve, Chelsea, and now Inter, he's an incredible manager. And I just find it very strange because if you watch Conte and if you ask me to say, "Oh, what's Conte's play style?" I wouldn't be able to tell you. I actually have no idea. But he just brings in these good players. This is good at making the group feel together. Every team Conte has coaching, you can say whatever you want about him, but they always look united. They always look together. They're on the same page, and he does a very good job motivating them. And he's kind of like, when like you're like one of the boys, kind of feels like, you know what I mean? Like the coach is like jumping on you after you score in the locker room. He's hugging all the players. He's like one of the guys.
That's what I like too. That's like one thing too. I like you see all these top managers when like say their teams get a goal, get a huge win. They're not just there like walking in, like high, like just like shaking the hand and then going back to the locker room. They're getting in with the team. They're like getting into it with the teams. They're celebrating when the goals happen. Their players are coming up to them, hugging them. They keep motivating the players, even if they're up 4-0. You see guys like, say, for example, like Gattuso, Conte, Pep, Klopp. Liverpool could be up 4-0, but they'll still be yelling at the team just to keep their focus. Those are the top managers in the world. And those are the teams that always win something at the end of the year. And Conte, he's probably one of the most passionate, him and Simeone, I can probably debate between those two, probably the most passionate coaches in the world. And I really like seeing that. And those are the teams that will always be good, always be contenders. And I feel like Inter, as long as Conte is there, as long as the team's gelling together, I feel like they can be contenders for years to come.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main difference I see with Conte is no matter who you give him, Conte gets results. You could give him Lukaku, you could give him Ronaldo, you could give him Graziano Pele. They would play the exact same under Conte. They love Conte. They would score. They would play their absolute best for Conte. And I think that's really important for a manager and his style, because he could get Graziano Pele to play like Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime. It's what he does best. So when you give Conte actual good players, not Pele, you see what he does with those players. And all credit to Conte, and Juve should have took it back when we had the chance, but he proved us wrong, and he started the reign at Juventus, and now he ended it. So it's a bittersweet moment.
Yeah, and I do want to go more into Inter, but in a future pod, obviously after they lift up the trophy and all the celebrations are concluded, and we'll get an Inter fan on here, one of our friends, to speak about his thoughts on it, the journey up to this point and all that. So we don't want to go too much into detail of Inter, but one last thing before we move on here. I just want to bring up the coach celebrating the team again. Every good manager in Europe you look at, they all celebrate the team. Klopp does. Guardiola does. Yeah. Nagelsmann from Leipzig was going to Bayern. He does it too. Mourinho, one of the greatest managers of all time, he still does it at the age of 59, I believe.
Conte does it.
Conte does it.
Simeone does it.
Simeone. All of them. He's doing it too.
You can see it.
He'll get there one day. Yeah.
Well, I'm not, as much as I love Gattuso, I'm not saying Gattuso, you can't put him on that list for like top manager or whatever, but I'm still saying like he's passionate about the game. He coaches like he's still playing, like, and you see the players going up to him, like say Osimhen when he scored against, I think it was Bologna, I believe. First person he ran up to, Gattuso. Patania scored one of the games he scored this season, ran up to Gattuso and hugged him. That's what you love to see from the players, because that means they love the coach. And he scored a penalty against Juventus, ran up to Gattuso and hugged him after the match as well. And that's what you love to see. You love to see a good connection between a coach and the team, because that means the team is going well. Even if the results, say they drop a result here and there, the next week they'll bounce back, and because of the trust and the connection between the coach and the teams. And that's why, like, a lot of these teams, say like City, Liverpool, Bayern, or say Bayern, PSG, they always have good coaches that get the players going. And plus, it helps that they have the best players, but they have a coach that loves the team and the team loves the coach, and that's how results get done.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened with Juve this week when we crawled back and beat Udinese. Instead of like after the celebrations, when the players were leaving the field, each one of them was hugging Pirlo. So it shows that they're still on like Pirlo's side, or maybe it was a goodbye to Pirlo. Who knows? That's well, I guess we'll find out in the future. But you could see how united they are with Pirlo.
Yeah, and my biggest pet peeve as a fan is watching a manager. Like, come on, your team's up 3-0 and not celebrating. Like, we know inside you're so happy. Just let it out. The fans love it. I don't want to act like professional, but like this almost like a bravado. Like, we didn't win anything yet, but come on, we know you're happy. Just let it out. Like, I don't want managers act like they're they're in court or something. Like, relax, loosen up, celebrate your team.
One thing I like too, like that I'm a big fan of. Say a team's up 4-0. I love when the manager is still coaching. Like, keep your focus, because one thing, especially because I'm a goalie as well, I hate with a passion. Say we're up 4-0. Say Napoli's up 4-0, and then the team will score in the 90th minute. That just drives me nuts, because for me, yeah, a clean sheet is, as much as a win is very important. I like keeping clean sheets because I know that means we had a great game. Every aspect. When we concede, it means our defensively, and also too, the goals can come back here to bite us. And it's just a big pet peeve I have. I just hate conceding goals in the late minutes of the matches, and it happened this weekend. And you all know how pissed I was. I'll just say that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's always nice to see your managers be passionate. But moving on now. Speaking about Gattuso and Pirlo, and maybe Pioli too, we can speak about the top four race. It's been interesting, and it's been fun to watch this year. I think this is probably the most heated top four race we've seen in a while. You got Juve, Milan, Napoli. I think Atalanta's a lock. Can we all agree on that? I think Atalanta's they'll make it. Even though it's close, I think out of the teams here, I think Atalanta's probably the most consistent. I didn't expect them to drop points this past weekend, but at the same time, I kind of did, because I think it was in the air. I think everyone knew Inter was going to do it this weekend. I just had a feeling in my heart. It was unlucky. Obviously, Muriel missed a penalty.
Yeah, but Corlini got a red card.
Yeah, he got a red card, so it would be difficult for them, but it's the way they play, and I'm going to check their strength of schedule right now and who they have left. But Atalanta have...
I think they have a tough game. They have a tough game.
Yeah, Parma, Benevento, which are two relegated sides.
Yeah,
they'll play them Milan last. And Genoa as well.
That Milan game is going to be interesting, that Milan-Atalanta game.
So they potentially have a chance to already be in top four by the last game if they just get rid of Parma, Benevento, Genoa, and other teams drop points. But if not, it'll be a very nerve-wracking game for them. Milan and Atalanta, they could potentially fight off for a final spot. Who knows where it'll be, but... Juve, I don't think anyone expected them to be fighting for top four. We thought it would be almost a guarantee by now that they'd be in it. It's very interesting, Napoli, obviously, unfortunately, Hernandez, must have been heartbreaking for Napoli fans. Dan, you can probably speak on that. But, we'll start off with you, Dan, and for Jake, and jump in as well. Top four, what are your expectations? Do you think you can do it? Obviously, Koulibaly went out.
Yeah, now I feel like our top four races just got even harder, even though we have favorable matchups coming up. It's going to be tough regardless. Fiorentina's always a tough side. Besides 6-0 performance, they're always a tough side. They play hard, especially the way Vlahovic has been playing. I feel like he might score against us too, depending if Koulibaly's back. But now without Maximovic and Koulibaly, our road just got even harder. Malas and Romani, they're good defenders, but I just don't feel like they're together. They haven't played a lot together, so it's going to be interesting to see. And that Cagliari match, I hope it's not going to be a deflating result, but it was a result that Napoli we should have gotten the 3 points. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Gattuso didn't get the men ready." You can't really blame Gattuso for this match. I feel like Napoli played a very strong match. They played pretty good until the 93rd minute, where Nandez scored the goal because of a defensive lapse Husai had. Instead of holding the line, he was a little late to react. Nandez was open in the back post, and he put it home and to tie the match. But Napoli also, we have a lot of chances that we should have took. We should have scored maybe 3 or 4. We did have a goal. I'm not the one to blame officiating at all when it comes to losing, but we were really robbed of a goal. Osimhen was trying to run it in behind, and Godin just missed the ball and fell. No contact at all. If there was minimal contact, but not enough for Godin to fall over like the way he did. So right there, that was kind of the changing point as well. And a few changing points in the match as well is when Osimhen came off from the head injury he had with, I think it was Chipotelli. Him and Chipotelli collided heads, and Osimhen had to leave the match, but I think he should be okay for Spezia. And when Koulibaly went down with cramps, we thought it was cramps, but it turns out it was a muscle injury, I believe. And he's gonna be out a few weeks. They said 2 weeks. So against Spezia, and I can't remember the other match we have coming up after Spezia. I want to say it's probably like a Bologna, or I think it's Bologna. But regardless, Napoli need these results. They need to get back. They need to pick up the wins, get back in the win column, and finish the season off top 4.
It's Udinese, Dan.
Udinese, yes, that's it. So it's gonna be another tough match. Udinese and
my God.
Spezia.
I just had a heart attack. My heart just dropped. We're paying Mourinho $7.5 million a year. Oh God.
Shit.
Holy
Where's
shit.
his money coming from? We're just giving Jekyll's salary.
Holy
my
cow.
God. I'm gonna faint.
Yeah.
Like, keep going. Actually, I need to lay down quick.
Don't worry. That's huge. That's more news too. Holy cow. But like I was saying, Udinese is gonna be a tough match because they got some good players. Even though this week they collapsed big time against Juventus, so stupidity by DePaul on the free kick, and just a mental lapse in defense again, and Ronaldo scored the second goal. But it's gonna be a tough race, especially without Koulibaly, who's been very, very solid for us this season. I can argue this any day of the week. He's easily a top 3, top 5 defender in the world. I'm leaning more to top 3. Just when he plays, Napoli defensively is such a different side. He does so much for us, winning the ball back, very strong on the play, very strong with the ball, and he's just a leader in the back. So I'm so grateful for having him. He's going to be missed these couple of weeks, but hopefully Manolas and Ramani can step up and fill the big shoes of Koulibaly, and we just gotta get back in the win columns, because these matches are not matches that Napoli can win, and I feel like they could win and they could win now, but it all comes down to what the other teams ahead of us do, and if they could drop points, we need to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I think top 4 race is going to be tricky. With Koulibaly's injuries and Maximovic's injuries, I think it kind of puts Napoli out into the Europa League. I just think as of right now, with the games in hand, Napoli definitely have the most favorable draws for top 14 for the race. But at the same time, when they miss Koulibaly, they tend to dip in form, and they kind of concede stupid goals, and the mentality is just a little shot, especially after that Cagliari game when that Osimhen chance wasn't counted. I think the whole mentality shifted with Napoli, and they let their guards down at the last minute and let Cagliari score right at the death to kind of drop two points that should have been Napoli's. So I think Milan's for the top 4 race. I definitely think Milan's going to qualify for Champions League. Napoli could be a surprise draw, but I just think as of right now, Milan are on better form than Napoli with mentality-wise, because Pioli knows his job's. He's going to get sacked if he doesn't get top 4, so they're definitely going to be playing for Pioli. In terms of Juventus, quickly recapping Juve Udinese, even though Ronaldo got the 2 goals and kind of not carried us, but kind of inspired us to get the win with a penalty in that header. I think it needs to be said. I don't care who you are. When you lose a ball, the last thing I want to see you do is put your head down, shrug your shoulders, and throw a temper tantrum in the middle of the field when the player literally runs right beside you. If all you had to do was stick your foot out, if Ronaldo stuck his foot out, he literally would have got the ball back, but instead he was too busy throwing a temper tantrum. I think that's unacceptable, and he needs to kind of tone that down, but I'm glad he scored, because when Ronaldo doesn't score, he plays like shit. He tries to hog the ball more. He tries to get more greedy. He just plays worse because he wants that. He has such a desire to score. When he doesn't score, he feels like he has a need to score. He doesn't change he's like, oh, I can't score against this team. Okay, I'm going to just play more defensively and make sure Morata's going to get a goal, because Morata's been on fire lately. Instead, he's like, no, I got to score. And now that he has his goals, maybe his confidence is a little higher. Maybe he starts being more selfless, hopefully, because we're going to need that. I think out of the top four teams, Juventus have definitely the hardest schedule. We have Milan, then Sassuolo, Inter, and Bologna. And 3 days after Inter, we have the Atalanta Coppa Italia final. So we have a lot of big games coming up in this month. We really got to have our heads screwed on right and secure top four before that Inter game, because I really want to play our bench against Inter so we could really focus on that Coppa Italia final. I think that's the most important game of the season right now. If we could get a huge win against Milan and Sassuolo, I think that'll solidify our top four needs. And at this point, hopefully we just get second place and Coppa Italia for Pirlo. And that's all I could ask for at Juventus right now, is we choked the Scudetto. There's no excuses, and we gotta come back stronger than ever next season. And it starts with a Supercoppa win against Inter at the start of next season. So in order to do that, we gotta beat Atalanta in the Coppa Italia. But in order to be fully prepared for that game, we gotta make sure we get this huge win against AC Milan and Sassuolo in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, well said. I think we all said our piece here in the top four. Obviously, a little shorter podcast because I'm trying to get some Mourinho news out quick and our thoughts on it, because this news just blew up Twitter and the whole league. So, I'm excited to see what everyone says about this podcast, what you guys think about Mourinho. Obviously, a lot of mixed opinions on him, but that's who he is. He's a polarizing character, so a lot of people have their own opinions on who he is as a person and manager, but looking forward to see what he does with Roma. Obviously, top four race, that will be following it this entire season until that very end. We're looking forward to see who finishes in the top four. There's Roma United on Thursday, which if you guys have anything better to do, go ahead and do it, because I don't see any. Obviously, I'll be watching, but
you never know, Ends. The Remontada 4-0.
Yeah,
you guys done it against stronger teams before. Barcelona almost against Liverpool.
I think Fonseca will probably play our youth team for a slap in the face, because he doesn't care anymore. We're rocking with another game this year. I'll be surprised if we do. But all we got to look forward to now is Mourinho next year, and Zaniolo will come back on May 16 against Lazio. So looking forward to that one as well. Going to be a big day, and this thread I have on Twitter can finally end, because I'm kind of sick of tweeting every day here for almost 500 days. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. No, again.
And before we, and this isn't good. Like, you're gonna thank me for saying this. Before we go, just pay our respects for the 72-year anniversary of the Torino squad, that wonderful team that unfortunately lost their lives. Today's the 72-year anniversary, so our praise and thoughts are with Torino today.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Empoli got promoted to Serie A.
Empoli back to Serie A. Maybe Sarri back to Serie A with Rugani. You never know.
No.
Yeah.
Their coach is they're claiming their coach to be the next Sarri, so we'll see.
Yeah, you never know.
We'll see what happens.
The Sarri Rugani reunion at Empoli.
Yeah, Rugani. I'm sure there's a Serie E club that might be looking for center backs. Maybe Rugani can go play there. The bar owners have played there part time. So, but like I was saying, thank you for listening. Our social media is @Calcio everywhere. We'll be back next week. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.